You know that incredibly satisfying feeling you get when you buy a brand new, like really expensive planner?
Oh, yeah. The pristine cover, the crisp paper.
Exactly. And you write down this big, lofty goal on the very first page. And in that exact moment, your brain just gives you this massive rush of dopamine.
It's a trap, a brilliant psychological trap.
Right. It tricks you into feeling like you've actually accomplished the thing you just wrote down.
Right.
But then, a week later, the planner is just sitting under a stack of mail and absolutely nothing in your workflow has changed.
Yeah, we're completely hardwired to love the feeling of setting an intention.
Yeah.
But the friction always happens when we try to build the bridge between that intention and, well, actual concrete reality. I mean, we write down these aspirational statements because the act of writing them feels like progress.
But it's not.
No, not at all.
Huh.
We rarely engineer the actual mechanics required to make it happen.
And that illusion of progress is exactly what we are dismantling today. So, welcome to the deep dive. We are looking at the final stretch of materials from the Healthcare Administration course, HCA 445.
It's been quite a journey through this material.
It really has. I mean, if you've been tracking with this, you know we've covered some pretty heavy technical ground.
Yeah, using AI for complex data ops, turning it inward for career development.
Right, like the interview prep and coaching stuff. And of course, building that dual framework of human to human versus human to AI skills. But today is about operationalizing all of that. We are dissecting the AI action plan.
Which is really the ultimate cure for that aspirational statement that feels good to write, but, does absolutely nothing.
Yes. The goal today is to help you understand how to write down exactly where you are and where you are going so the next 6 months of your career don't just, happen to you. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Before we can actually build this document, we have to clear away the misconceptions about what it actually is. Because, I mean, it's so easy to just sit down at your laptop and draft a list of new AI tools you want to try out.
Oh, that's the most common pitfall by far.
Yeah.
People constantly confuse a software inventory with an action plan.
Right. Yeah.
And look, a list of tools takes maybe 5 minutes to compile,
Yeah.
and it changes absolutely nothing about your daily reality.
It's just passive.
Exactly. It's completely passive. And just to be clear, it is also not a general sweeping career plan.
So it's not a 10-year roadmap.
No, no. If you have a macro-level career plan, this AI action plan sits underneath it. It supports it. It's a very short, hyper-specific statement of three things: where you are right now, where you intend to in a finite window, and what you will actually do in between.
It reminds me of the analogy from the text about the gym training plan.
Yeah, the gym analogy is perfect.
Because if you have a plan that just says, get stronger, that is totally useless. It doesn't tell you what to do. But a plan that names the specific lift, the sets, the reps, and the check-in weight, that actually works.
Because knowledge is only valuable when it's applied,
Hmm.
especially for a learner in this field.
Right.
Cataloging software is just data collection. But defining the exact workflow where you'll deploy a specific tool, that is active application.
Which brings up a really critical question about timeline. Why is it so urgent to write this right now, specifically for a 1 to 3 year horizon? Like, why not just wait and see how things shake out?
Well, because the tech environment we're in right now is not a steady backdrop. It's just not.
It's constantly moving.
Exactly. The tools you used 6 weeks ago are already different. The tools you'll use 6 months from now will change again. We are sitting right in the middle of a rising capability curve. And there are three massive shifts happening right now.
Okay, let's break this down.
So shift one is agentic AI. We're moving away from just conversational AI.
Where you just ask a question and it answers.
Right, exactly. To AI that actually acts on your behalf. It can book things, send emails, navigate multiple steps of a process autonomously.
That is wild.
It is. And shift two is embedded AI, meaning the AI is being built directly into the tools you already use. Spreadsheets, emails, scheduling software.
So you don't even have to go to a separate website anymore.
No, it's just there. So the question changes from should I use AI for this
Mm-hmm.
to how do I use the AI that is already sitting right here?
Wow. Okay, and what's the third shift?
Shift three is what the text calls the quieter shift. It's the compounding gradual rise in competitive expectations for what a single administrator can actually produce.
Ah, I see.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the administrators who know how to supervise these AI agents and who know when not to use the default AI, they're going to set the pace.
And everyone else.
Everyone else is going to be running just to keep up.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. Is this a reason to panic? I mean, if AI is doing all these multi-step tasks, aren't we basically just automating ourselves out of a job?
I get that question all the time. But no, it's not a reason to panic. The source material frames this really well. It's not a reason to panic, it's a reason to plan.
A reason to plan.
Yes, because a plan lets you ride that capability curve instead of just reacting to it as it crashes over you.
Okay, so let's get into the foundation of this plan. To ride that curve, we have to answer 4 specific questions. Let's start with the first 2, which establish the starting line and the destination.
Right. Question 1. Where are you now?
And this sounds simple, but it's actually kind of brutal, right?
It really is. It requires a completely honest reading of your current state, not your, networking event persona.
Not the resume version of yourself.
Exactly. You have to look at this without flinching. What AI skills have you legitimately built? What human skills do you have real evidence for? And honestly, what are your gaps?
You can't chart a path if you lie about your starting coordinate.
Precisely. Which leads to question 2. Where are you going? Looking 1 to 3 years ahead. And the text explicitly warns against 2 things here: being vague and fake certainty.
Right, so vague would be, I want to grow as a leader.
Which means nothing.
Yeah, and fake certainty is, in exactly 5 years, I will be the director of operations at this specific hospital.
Right, which is just making things up because the industry changes too fast.
But here's where it gets really interesting. What if the listener legitimately just doesn't know where they want to end up? How do they avoid faking that certainty without just falling back into being vague?
That is a crucial distinction. There is a huge difference between uncertainty and vagueness.
Okay, unpack that.
So the text gives a great example, saying, I am not sure yet whether I want to move toward operations or toward informatics, but I know I want to roll with more analytical responsibility. That is perfectly specific.
Oh, I love that.
Right. It acknowledges the uncertainty about the exact title, but it gives you a very clear vector for the next year.
Okay, so we have a destination, or at least a vector. But aspirations are easy to write, actions are not. Let's shift to the execution. What are the mechanics of actually moving forward?
That brings us to question 3. What will you actually do? And the rule here is what they call the observation test.
The observation test. I love this concept. Explain how this works.
It's simple. Would another person, physically watch you doing the thing and confirm that it happened?
Okay, give me an example for a human-to-human commitment.
Sure. A bad one would be develop leadership skills. Nobody can watch you develop.
Right.
But a good one is volunteer to lead the next 3 interdisciplinary rounds huddles and ask my director for feedback.
Because I can literally stand in the room and watch you lead that huddle.
Exactly. It passes the observation test. Now, for a human-to-AI commitment, a bad one is get better at AI.
Fails immediately.
Yep. But a good one is build a project's workspace for my weekly reporting and run it for a full month.
That is so concrete. You can see the workspace. You can see the reports.
Exactly. It takes the wishful thinking right out of it.
Okay, so you do the things, but then what? That leads to question 4. How will you know it is working? And this is the check-in, right?
Yes, the check-in. And this is the step that almost everyone skips, which is why most plans just turn into wishes.
So why do we skip it?
Well, psychologically, we treat the check-in like a performance review. We think we're going to get in trouble with ourselves if we didn't do it. But the framing in the source is so important here. It is not a performance review.
Then what is it?
It's just a written conversation with yourself. You're just looking at the data to see if you did what you said and asking, is this plan still the right plan?
That's such a relief. It's just calibration. But to make this work, the specificity is absolutely necessary. Without it, nothing gets done.
Exactly. If you aren't specific, you have nothing to check in on.
Okay, so we know the 4 questions. But how do we actually format this document so it doesn't just, end up collecting digital dust on a hard drive somewhere?
Formatting is huge. First rule, write in specifics, not categories. Like we said, present monthly department metrics without reading from slides is way better than improved communication.
Yeah. Improved communication sounds like HR corporate speak.
Which is the second rule. Write in your own voice. Avoid the corporate jargon. You want to write this in a way that you will actually want to read it in 6 months.
Right. If it sounds like a textbook, you'll just close the tab.
Exactly. And keep it short. It needs to fit on 1 page.
1 page.
If it's 10 pages, you will never open it again.
I totally agree. But what about the check-in? How do we make sure that actually happens?
You have to schedule it right now. The highest leverage thing you can do is open your calendar, Go exactly 6 months into the future and put a 1-hour appointment with yourself on the calendar.
It literally takes less than a minute.
Less than a minute. And you have to go into that appointment expecting the plan to change. Yes. It's just your current best guess. If you reach the check-in and realize you did nothing, or that your direction completely shifted, that's fine. It's just data. You use that data to make the next plan smarter.
That ties the whole course together so perfectly. I mean, looking back at the arc of this material.
It really is a complete journey.
Yeah, we started out just learning basic prompting, then we moved into using AI for data and decision-making and operations, and now we're finally turning it inward for personal development.
It's about taking control of the technology instead of letting it control you.
So true. All right, let's do a rapid recap of this deep dive before we go. You now have the framework and you know the reps. Write the plan, honestly. No flinching. Put the check-in on the calendar right now. Seriously, do it today. And then, actually do the work.
But I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over.
Oh, I love these. Let's hear it.
We've spent a lot of time talking about how agentic AI is going to take over these multi-step routine tasks, and your action plan prepares you to supervise that shift. But think about this. When you reach your 6-month check-in and you find that your plan worked perfectly.
Meaning a massive chunk of your routine admin work is now being handled autonomously.
Exactly. When you have all that newly freed up time and mental energy, what uniquely human healthcare challenge are you going to tackle?
Wow, that is the real question. It's not about doing less work. It's about elevating the work you do.
Precisely.
All right, that is a perfect place to wrap up this deep dive. Grab a one-page document, open your calendar, and get to work. We'll catch you next time.